Hello. In 1986, I made my way tentatively and not without incident through Albania to Sarajevo because I particularly wanted to find the place where Princeps assassinated the Archduke Ferdinand and started the First World War. And I did actually get there. It was, as I say, it wasn't without incident, and it was a very memorable and significant time for me. 30 years ago now was the siege of Sarajevo, an appalling atrocity in the heart of Europe. And one might say, well, because we didn't have social media to the extent that we have today, it wasn't as an immediate. It didn't have such an immediate impact as the current war in Ukraine. But there is also the argument that is levelled that this was a war where many of the victims were Muslims, as they are in Palestine, as they were in Iraq, Somalia, Yemen, and that maybe we don't pay as much attention as we should. That because the Ukrainians are predominantly Christian, we have and feel more European as a result. We have more sympathy. I think this is a misguided interpretation, but I can understand it. I think we must learn. We must learn from history. I mean, we must recognise that we've not done enough. Where there is an atrocity of the scale of the wars in Sarajevo, in Yemen, in Iraq, in Palestine, we need to stand up and recognise that these are wrong. And wherever civilians are assaulted and killed in the name of military aggression, war crimes are committed. But it's not only war crimes. In some cases, the conflict itself is fundamentally wrong and needs to be called out. And, the Ukraine situation should focus our minds, but we should never forget these other wars, these other crimes, and deep gashes in our moral sensibility. There are things which are right, and there are things which are wrong, and that is our judgment. That is how we should judge these things, not about whether or not we have an alliance with somebody, whether or not we can see somebody or other as being more European than somebody else. That's not the issue. The issue is whether something is right or wrong. And the Ukraine war, the siege of Sarajevo, for 4 years, think of that, is just wrong. And we look at cities and towns now in Ukraine, and then we can look back at Sarajevo. And I think we see similarities. The appalling inhumanity of these events, where ordinary people are forced to suffer because of mad politicians and crazy military strategists. It shouldn't happen. We should find a way to stop it.